probably. I know. I do business with them, but I don't want to. Well,
Yes. Yes. EA. The time
that
of EA
name,
play.
me, the time of EA Play, where we all collectively groan as they release their newest method to scam us out of their money, and then try to market
Yes.
it like it's a good idea.
Yes. Who doesn't want more microtransactions or pay to play, pay to win?
I do, I
Mm,
do. More microtransactions.
yes.
Uh, well, anyways, news just came down the pipeline, sadly. Well, not sadly. Well, sad for everyone who isn't EA. Well, sad for everyone who is. Yeah, sad for EA, but not everyone else. Oh, no, I guess
Probably.
sad for.
Probably for everyone, because it's just gonna
Probably for
it's gonna
everyone.
become terrible over time down the road.
Yeah, if you have your personal information with EA, I would be well
Run.
advised. Run. Well, recently, hackers have stolen, through the use of Slack, a good chunk of EA, well, not a good chunk, but they broke into EA's, shall we say, databases and stole a good chunk of information. Not personal information, as far as they say, but according to what the hackers themselves says, because there's actually the hackers did go on, a representative did go on and have an interview with one of the news agencies and said that among the things stolen, if we can just find it here, is the Frostbite engine entire source code for Frostbite. So most of the games, for those who don't know, are built on Frostbite through EA because EA wants all their games built on Frostbite. So all of
Money.
that engine source code is gone.
Yeah.
And the debug tools. FIFA 21 matchmaking server code. The FIFA 22 API codes and SDK debug tools, so a good chunk of the debug tools.
Yep.
Just debug.
That's a problem.
That's a problem. If you're a coder, you're already sweating bullets. A lot of other SDKs, debug tools, and API keys. And of course, proprietary EA Games framework, which is, you know,
Everything
basically
important.
everything important, just basically the base work of a lot of their games.
Yep.
Xbox and Sony SDKs and API keys, and of course, Xbox, PS, and EA PFEX insert with keys. So basically, a lot of stuff got stolen. But I think the most important stick-out point, especially if you're not a coder and don't know what half of what we just said was, is the Frostbite engine. Going back to that, again, most of the games, in fact, a good chunk, all of the games that EA makes are made mostly on primarily on Frostbite because EA wants to push that engine that they created, their own proprietary engine. And now all of the source code and debug tools, so basically tools for playing around with the engine, have now been just kind of released into the wild.
Yeah. It's all out
Yay!
there.
It's all out there.
So yeah, like having all that code alone out there isn't very good because I for one know from experience when a game's code gets leaked, no matter how old it is, it can be a big problem. It can be a very big problem
Mm-hmm.
because yeah, people will very quickly take advantage of that.
And the problem with also is that they leaked. There's also FIFA 21 and 22 like code related to both 21 and 22 got leaked. This could also open up the possibility of more hacking issues on FIFA 21 and 22 because again, now that that information has been leaked, there is more, shall we say, ability for them to go and mess around with the way FIFA works.
Yeah, yeah, people have a lot more access to a lot of the fundamentals on how the code would be functioning. So
Mm-hmm.
that's just it's so much problem right there alone.
And what makes this story go from bad to worse is according to um, a actual security consulting firm that EA worked with in the past that looked over their stuff. EA knew about this stuff for a long time. They were well aware of these issues, and they said, "Yeah, we know," but they did nothing.
Yep,
So
that seems like EA to me.
that seemed like EA. The problem is we're seeing more and more of this in the industry, where more companies are kind of aware of their security issues, but they really don't take them seriously until massive amounts of information got leaked,
Or they
and
lose
then they
so
pretend to care.
much. They lose so much money that they realize, oh, maybe we probably should have invested.
We should have invested in cybersecurity.
It's like,
Weird.
oh,
In
I
retrospect,
wonder what happened to all my money. Where'd it go?
where'd it go? Where'd all my money revenue
Oh,
go?
it
Well,
went to the keeping the servers up because they kept crashing and breaking.
oops. Oh my goodness. The funny thing is about this whole hack is, according to the representative of the hacker group, apparently they told this to Motherboard. So if you're wondering who exactly they told this to, was to the Motherboard, which is another media site. They basically said by online chat, which is how they had this conversation, that they basically got into the EA servers by basically using stolen cookies that were being sold for $10, and they used them to gain access to the Slack channel used by EA. Now, basically, what those cookies are, if you don't know, cookies are basically the things you get every time you log into a certain, or not even log in, you go to any specific page and it'll probably prompt you
Yeah,
with,
like
we use
different
cookies.
websites and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Interesting.
basically, it just basically holds your like login information, if you put in login information, the fact that you were there, stuff like that. So basically just information.
So in other words, they could use that to go and track people's data and information, and even take some of the things that they go and put in, like when they make a purchase and all that. Like,
Yes, pretty much actually,
there's
because cookies do keep track of your activities.
like there's a lot of stuff that those cookies go and hold. Kind of a point to maybe people should stop going and keeping
So if you
holding
have
on to
cookies,
everything.
clear your cookies.
Yeah.
Clear them off, ladies and gentlemen.
Run.
If you have a large chunk of cookies, I would go into your history. Just go to your history in any web browser you have that you frequent a lot, and just clear your cookies regularly, just for the sake of security as well as for the sake of your hardware. It's a lot less strain on the system because a lot less stuff to remember. But anyways, so they got hold of these cookies that were being sold for $10, these stolen cookies, and they basically used them to get into. They basically used them to get into the private channels used by EA. And they basically went to them and they said, "Hey, we're from EA. Can we have stuff?"
Give money.
Not even give money. They basically requested a multi-factor authentication token, forgive me, ladies and gentlemen, from IT support. So basically, they took this information, went to EA IT support, and through these cookies, basically disguised themselves as an EA representative, went to the IT, and were like, "Hey, we're from EA. Believe us.
We're on
We
your
have
side.
to prove it. We're on your side. Can we please have a authentication key to prove we are from EA and get access to the server so we can do stuff?" And EA IT support said, "Okay,
Sure.
sure, why not?
Okay.
Okay." And apparently the representative said this method of infiltration, which is basically them just going to this is basically the equivalent of you putting on a disguise like freaking
Just putting on a mask and being
Hitman,
like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah, you're basically pulling like an Agent 47, pulling on somebody's clothing, going to the door and being like, "Yeah, I work here."
Yeah. Yeah.
And
no,
apparently,
there's nothing
according to the
suspicious.
representative, no, nothing suspicious. According to the representative of the hacker group, this was successful 2 times, so they pulled this trick off twice and got away with it. And according to the representative in the report from Vice, which will be linked in the description if you're curious where we're getting these sources, once inside EA's network, the hackers looked for the service for EA developers for compiling games. They successfully logged in, created a virtual machine, which gave them more visibility into the network, so basically more awareness of where they were, accessed one or more of the services, and then downloaded game source code. And that is a literal quote from Vice, where I worked with just there. So basically, they went in there, faked ID credentials, basically logged in, and basically just stole stuff through official means. It's basically the equivalent of walking into a store, picking something up, and then just walking out the front door again.
Yep.
And a good chunk of data got stolen. According to EA, none of their customer information got stolen, if I'm remembering this correctly. But they don't mention employee information, which is interesting.
That's weird.
Very weird.
You'd think a lot of employee information would have been leaked from that, because the employees would be using the sites and all that very often.
Because of the method they were probably going in for, they were probably looking for specific things, I suspect. Probably. So they didn't just have the chance to pick up and run. They were probably looking around and scrummaging for little bits of information. This is concerning, to say the least, because, again, EA knew about this for a long time. They actively didn't do anything. And then, when it happened, they're like, "Oh, yeah, oops."
No.
And then they defended themselves. They basically defended themselves by saying, well, they didn't go through official channels. They didn't, the IT consultants didn't officially go through official channels. And I can't bring up where that is right now because, unfortunately, I find it off top my head, which is what he's saying, but anyway. Um, take my word for it, though, ladies and gentlemen. Basically, anyways, they knew about it for a long time. They didn't do anything, and then it happened. And then they're like, "Oh shoot!" Well, it was the IT guy's fault for not telling us in the official manner they were doing it. So, yeah.
Yeah, that's.
So if
don't work for
if you
EA.
do business, I mean, if you play EA games and you use their login information like a lot, and you play EA, like if you play FIFA, if you play, I can't even. Now my brain can't even remember other EA games other than FIFA, which is not a good thing at the moment.
Yeah.
Too early.
EA's got a lot of Star Wars lately. Well, not lately, but
Yes.
Star Wars.
If you log into things like Origin, you play a lot of their things. If you go through their services a lot, this kind of lack of the care of security should be something I would advise you, take into consideration next time you're doing business with EA, because this is becoming a sad.
It's not so good.
No, not so good.
Like money risk, bro. Money risk.
Money risk. And sadly, this is becoming an all too more common thing in the games industry we're seeing nowadays. We saw just a few months ago that CD Projekt Red got hacked by hackers, and a good chunk of their game source code got leaked. I believe, if I remember correctly, it was The Witcher and Cyberpunk source code. At least I think The Witcher was in there. I know Cyberpunk source code was stolen officially. So, we're getting this we're seeing this a lot more often, where security is just not a big enough issue in the game space, despite the fact that it should be, especially with this big push to multiplayer. Like,
yeah,
how many games these days demand some form of online access? You'd think that would be the most robust area they'd be putting their security, but apparently it's not.
No.
Which is concerning, to say the least.
Yeah, like they really gotta up the game for security, because the more online things become, the more risk there is there for everything to just kind of go away. It's like, yep, all your money, all your investment, there it goes. Oh yeah, those servers you've been running, yeah, nah, they're botched. All the equipment is broken.
All gone. They just took a hammer to it. They just smashed it all up. Now you got to do it again.
Yep.
And that's again, and especially if you play FIFA, there's been a lot of talk lately about how there's been a lot of issues with all the whole FIFA coin incident, where FIFA coins were being basically just sold on there's a lot of stuff going on with EA right now.
There really is. There really is. They've got a lot of explaining to do for a lot of things.
The sad part is EA usually defaults and blames somebody else.
Yeah.
Or they just play the innocent one.
It's like, oh,
Let us all remember the surprise mechanics incident, which will go down in the internet's history as probably the worst concealed lie ever.
Yep. No, you don't. Not. You can't surprise mechanics people that easily.
Anyways, this is something that if you do business with EA, I would take into consideration, that your security apparently is not their highest priority. If you ask me, I would say it's probably your money that is their highest priority, which is sad but true, I suppose.
Bit annoying,
at least. But perhaps we should go to more positive news. There has been a leak for the rumored state of play that PlayStation has been doing, on another note. And it apparently is July... Hold on, let me just get this number exactly. July 8th. July 8th. We're on Thursday. Apparently that is the leaked date for the state of play that Sony is going to be hosting, now that the dust from E3 has kind of cleared and they can go on and be like, here, look, we've got games too.
Yeah.
Look at this.
Xbox is trying to look fancy with Bethesda? Nah, we got something.
Nah, we got something. Here, look at these new blockbusters. According to the rumors, ladies and gentlemen, there is apparently also going to be, and this is, again, just rumors, God of War Ragnarok gameplay. Official gameplay is going to be revealed at this whole event. According to the rumors. As well as a standalone expansion for Ghost of Tsushima. So if you play Ghost of Tsushima, I like it. That's apparently also getting a new expansion.
There's going to be some more enjoyment there for you.
Yeah, apparently it's called, and I'm probably going to butcher this name, forgive me, Ghost of Ikishima. I think I pronounced
Ikushima.
that correct. Ikishima. Forgive
So,
me if I'm not saying that correctly.
so the
That's the rumored
DLC
name.
is Ikushima.
Ghost of Ikishima is apparently the rumored name of this expansion, this standalone expansion.
See where that goes then. That's there's a fair amount that you can do with that because I mean, with Ghost of Tsushima on its own, it had a lot of gameplay and stuff for you to do. So
Oh yeah, I honestly enjoy that game very much. I've played it multiple times. It's a very, very beautiful story, very nice, and it
yep.
is kind of funny that back when I remember when it first came out, there was this a little bit of a uproar in Japan because apparently, for those who don't know, Ghost of Tsushima was created by Naughty Dog, and for those who also don't know, excuse me, it was a Naughty Dog is an American-based company. Why is that significant? Well, in Japan, the Japanese were a little upset that an American-based company got Japan more right than Japan.
Yes, we are Japanese now.
We are Japanese now. We know you better than you do.
Yes.
Which is funny because I remember one of the directors from one of the studios out in Japan. I can't remember his name or what studio represented, but he basically said that Ghost of Tsushima's plot probably would have never come out of Japan because Japan usually this is his words, not mine here, from what I can remember.
Yeah.
He said that Japan usually has more younger protagonists and stuff like that. So Ghost of Tsushima's entire plot would have never been something that a Japanese studio or any studio out that way would have even considered doing.
Yeah.
Which is interesting.
They would have kept a lot of it hush hush and no.
And they probably just wouldn't have done it to begin with, which is,
Yeah.
like I said, kind of interesting considering it was a blockbuster success out both in the West and the East, and yet the East got angry.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I
that's
mean,
that's the thing when it comes to Japan. Japan has a lot of restrictions when it comes to a lot of content, so
I wouldn't say that. I just find the whole scenario interesting. I
yeah.
mean, I kind of refer to it a kind of like if Denmark made a game and it was better than about the U.S. like Civil
Then
War
the
and it was better
US.
than and any game the U.S. itself could make, the people of the United States would go like, hold on, wait a minute, how did the Danes know our war better than we do?
Yeah.
There's a problem here. I find the whole situation interesting though. But again, going back to the whole PlayStation State of Play, the rumor says that this whole big State of Play, which is supposed to be Sony's answer to the whole E3 now that E3 is settled, is going to be on July 8th, according to the rumors. So mark your calendars. Again, this whole article we're sourcing this from is from Gaming Dope, and that'll be also in the description as well. If you're looking for the sources, you can read this all yourself.
Yep. We'll
But
be
apparent,
having a link to this in the description in the comments.
hmm which is quite interesting though. So it is what it is. Apparently, though, like they said, there's going to be a big surprise that PlayStation's been keeping under wraps, and it's going to be revealed at this thing, which is going to be interesting. I'm honestly quite interested to see what this big surprise is. Me, I'm personally very happy for. I'm waiting for Ghost of. I'm no. I was about to say Ghost of Ragnarok.
Ragnarok.
Ragnarok happens twice. But honestly, I'm excited for Ragnarok. I'm excited for Horizon Zero Dawn Forbidden West. Or Horizon Forbidden West, my bad. The naming convention. Um, I'm honestly very excited for them because I want to play them on the newest gen consoles, and it's going to be fun.
Yeah,
I'm honestly a long.
there's gonna be a lot that could be done and you
Mm.
can enjoy there.
Also, side note, I do not have we do not have the exact source for this, so forgive us if we don't have this particular source, but apparently there is also two big acquisitions from Sony recently, and I do not remember one of them, but apparently one of them is Bluepoint. According to the rumors, that is one of the big acquisitions Sony has made recently. That Bluepoint Studios has been acquired recently. Why is that a big idea? Why is that big? Well, Bluepoint is a very good when it comes to remastering games.
Yeah.
For those who do not know, they did the Uncharted Nathan Drake's collection. I believe they did the newest I don't remember the name of it. Demon Souls. I believe they had a hand in that, as well as one other one that I cannot remember. But basically, their whole shtick is they do a lot of remasters, and they do them very well. So this remaster is quite interesting, really.
see where they go
Or
with it.
this acquisition of remastered things, I should say. Indeed, I'm quite interested to see where this whole business goes. Who knows? Maybe we'll get like a remastered Gears of War. That would be nice.
Gears of War 1 remastered.
Gears of War 1 remastered.
One does
I
not
joke, but
remaster masterpieces.
one does not remaster masterpieces. They can only make cheap imitations. But it's quite interesting, honestly.
It will be interesting to see where it goes with that and what they'll do, because
Mm-hmm.
there's a lot that you could do with that.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Also, no, forgive me, I just cut you off there.
oh no, I'm just thinking about
Going
it.
on?
It
Yeah.
it's gonna be interesting to think about, because yeah, like EA going and having them under their wing. It's gonna be interesting to see what EA has planned for them.
Mm-hmm. And if I remember correctly, that whole actual acquisition was leaked by accident. They weren't
As it
they weren't
always
officially
is.
supposed to release that fact they bought it. I believe Bluepoint was the one they accidentally leaked officially. But according to the article from Gaming Dope, though, apparently it's also been confirmed recently, or it's been recently confirmed that Insomniac Games is also working on a new multiplayer game. But apparently the details are still scarce.
Yeah.
So maybe we'll see it at the next State of Play that's coming up. Who knows? And again, Insomniac did the Ratchet and Clank games. They did the newest Spider-Man. Well, yeah, the newest Spider-Man games.
Spider-Man.
Spider-Man's um, games. So it's always interesting to see where that goes. They've been very, very successful as of recently. So I'm hoping they make a good multiplayer game, though the word multiplayer concerns me because when I hear multiplayer, the first thing that comes to mind is microtransactions, and
Yeah. Yep.
maybe I'm just been a little too.
And also all the times EA would go and say, "Oh, multiplayer is dead."
Back to that EA. Well, yes. Every time EA said single player is dead in it, they were promptly proven wrong. Ironically, one of them, their most high-profile proving wrong, like their most high-profile case of that happening was by their own hand, ironically, with Jedi Fallen Order. Single-player games are dead. Promptly proceeds to make one of the best-selling single-player games as of recent memory. Yeah, they're certainly dead.
Oh yes.
But that's a story for another day. um,
See
trust me,
where we go.
I alone can sit here and just beat the dead horse that is EA all the day, but
Can't do that
EA
forever.
and scummy microtransactions. Yeah, I have to make some form of content other than
Company bad.
kicking the poor down EA. Well, I don't want to say the poor down EA. Trust me, they are far from poor.
Oh yeah, definitely there.
It's the Scrooge. Well, I don't know who is the more Scrooge McDuck of the gaming world, Activision or EA. It's a close race there.
It is actually, when you think about it. Those
It
two are
is.
pretty.
It is quite a topic of debate, ladies and gentlemen. Leave us down below in the comments if you're listening. Who do you think is the more scummy of the two, Activision or EA? I honestly want to hear that. That would be a good faith argument to be had. Who is the more corrupt? Oops.
Of the two.
Of the two, yes.
Which one goes and is greedy for money than the other?
Well, I don't know. It took one of EA's biggest actually, no. Which one, Justin? Which one do you remember? Do you remember which one the second Battlefield was? Was that EA or Activision? I blocked all of the memory of that game out from my mind. Who created that? Was it EA
I
or
have a
Activision?
feeling it was probably EA.
Yes, actually, because EA had the Star Wars license. Yes. And then EA raised such a fuss over microtransactions that it got federal law enforcement involved. So, that's one point to EA being the scummiest of them all, where they screwed up so bad they got law enforcement involved.
Yeah.
Carefully, EA. One of these days you might get accused of making a felony.
Everything goes wrong.
Everything goes wrong. That'll be next week's episode. Ladies and gentlemen, next week's episode, EA got shut down by federal law enforcement for tax evasion.
Stop tax evading, bro.
I feel like that'd be more Activision's thing, tax evasion. I don't know why, but I feel like EA would be more into money laundering. I don't know why.
Meh,
It just feels like something they do.
probably.
You never know. Anyways,
Yeah.
so there we have it. We've got the whole business with EA and their whole uh, stance on security. Is that really a stance if you don't really care?
Yeah, it's hard to tell actually.
As well as the rumored EA state of play, which is to be their answer to the my brain went dead there, ladies and gentlemen. Forgive me, I just trailed off there. It's supposed to be their answer to E3 now that the dust of E3 is clear, which is again rumored to be on July 8th. So we'll all be sitting back and waiting anticipatedly, or at least I will be sitting back and waiting with anticipation.
See where
We
they
will
go
see.
with it.
Yes, I'm personally hoping that they have some news about the Hogwarts game, the new Harry Potter game.
Mm.
Say what you will about J.K. Rowling, I've basically blocked her existence out of the Harry Potter universe. I'm judging the art, not the artist.
Yes.
But again, whole other story. And personally, I would love to have a Persona game. I would love to have a Persona style game set in Harry Potter, going around doing stuff as well as attending classes. I don't know.
Oh, why not?
Why not? I mean, who wouldn't want to sit there and make a potion and try not to blow themselves up by accident? A little too much Phoenix root next time.
Little
But
less
anyway,
root.
little less root, more mermaid tier, less root. As you explain that to your professor while the classroom is on fire.
Yes. Everything's burning around you.
That's an interesting image I just conjured up. You just sitting there looking at like Professor Snape as the entire classroom is just setting on fire.
Yep.
What did you do? I put too much dragon root in the potion. I'm sorry.
I did what I was supposed to do. Magic.
It just magic. Yeah, bippity boppity blue. The classroom is now gone. I made the classroom disappear.
The classroom is blue.
The classroom is blue and every other shade of the rainbow. Oh my god, we're just rambling, having fun
Yeah,
at
at this point we're just having fun with it.
Honestly, I'm hoping that gets revealed. I'm excited for that game. What do you think, Justin? Any games you're excited from PlayStation's categories?
PlayStation's never really excited me, so it's hard to tell there. But I do
PC man.
I do want to see what they do with the Hogwarts game, because that'll be interesting to see what they do with that one.
It is. And I'm sure if they do reveal God of War Ragnarok gameplay, everyone will collectively squeal in excitement.
Yep. Everyone's just gonna be like,
I might just cut out
God
there.
of War.
Anything God of War. As a long-time God of War
Especially
fan.
after the new one.
Especially after the new one, everyone is just like, yes, give me the chance to fist fight Odin. I want the chance to knock Zeus.
I want
not
to
Zeus.
see
I've
the
killed Zeus already.
child.
I want to see the child. Yeah, everyone's just like, come on. I want to have a fisticuffs match with Thor. Let's do this.
Yep.
But
Alright.
anyways, that'll be it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. I know we were gonna do an hour episode, but we're thinking about changing the format and doing a 30-minute episode.
Yep. Be
So
able to get some nice and quick information out for you.
yep, we'll probably be we'll be refining this as time goes on. So that'll be another thing. Let us know in the comments how you think this episode went. If you enjoyed this style of format, if you think we should be rambling less, or you think I should be rambling less, I should say. I'm a bit of doing that. But yeah, leave us
If
what
you
you know.
enjoy, yeah, do leave a comment, and if
And
you do,
please like the
wanna
video.
Keep up to date. Do subscribe and make sure you hit the bell, because YouTube doesn't do a good job at notifying people when content comes out.
They don't tell anybody anything.
Nope.
Nope.
All right.
But again, yeah, we'll leave it at that. So, oh yes, in the words of the immortal Red Green, I'm pulling for you, and we're all in this together. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.